This is a topic I'm sure dear to a lot of people's heart, and we've seen the come and goes of delivery, cloud kitchen, and etc. So hopefully, these gentlemen will offer us this insightful of how do we see out of the mist of the cloud, shall we put it this way. So may I welcome on the stage Alan, General Manager, Food Service of Talabat, a dynamic management professional with 15 plus years of expertise in shaping success stories with clouds, kitchen space across various companies, with strategic leadership and F&B and high growth tech. And then I have Encore, which is, wow, belongs to a team of founders that have built the world's largest internet restaurant company, Rebel Food. And then I have George, which is a passionate food tech entrepreneur, co-founder of thecloud.ae. Joe, co-founder of Matpaka, a F&B company headquartered in Saudi Arabia, and is reimagining F&B in the hospitality industry in the kingdom. Last but not least, we have Mubarak, which is the co-founder and CEO of KLC Virtual Restaurant, one of the leading virtual restaurant and previous owner of Talabat before it was sold to Delivery Heroes. Yes, so gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. First of all, technology and cloud kitchen comes hand in hand. So my first question too is technology integration, since obviously the surge of delivery, post-COVID, we've seen the evolution of technology, we've seen the need and the urge of technology within the industry to grow. How have the integration advanced, and what is the next enhancement? And I will start with Talabat. Alan, please.
Thank you, Peggy. So, in general, the cloud kitchen space is at the heart of the delivery business today, and technology is also a very important part of what we do. In general, at Talabat, what we do in terms of technology, like basing, we're a tech company, and we're basing everything that we do on the data sets and the integrations that we do with all of the subsets of the technology that is out there. But specifically in the cloud kitchen business, what we're doing today is we're having the technology at the center of the cloud kitchen space, meaning we have developed our own technology in terms of software, middleware as well, and it's called Pepper, and it's the main agent that connects to all of the operations. Let me explain it a bit better, is that we have Pepper inside all of the kitchens that we have, and Pepper integrates with Talabat app and manages all of the order flow inside the kitchens. So the insights that the partners inside our kitchens have from that type of technology that we provide them as part of their experience within the Talabat kitchens is basically unmatched in the market, and it's also priceless. What we do there is we give insights on everything has to do with the prep time, their cooking time, their rider, where is the rider currently, and how is it coming to the restaurant, which is a proprietary technology for Talabat, and also we integrate it with the kitchens in there. So all of those insights that we give to the partners allows them to operate better and allows them to operate on time, keeping the customer in mind, so the customer can have a much better experience in there. Other than that, we have that same set of technology, we call it Pepper Grow, which is our growth dashboard that we provide also to the partners, and we provide them insights on how they're doing in terms of orders, how their ops metrics are affecting also their order growth, and how they're doing versus their averages in the market in there. So assuming a brand A is doing a prep time of 8 minutes, but the market is doing at 9 minutes, great, well done, you're doing great, and your food is prepared on time. Or we can tell them, no, you can do better in this and this and that area, so everything there is clear for them. And that's one of the main points that us as Talabat Kitchens and the technology that we provide them helps them grow and helps them uh, perform better in a cloud kitchen environment. And that's why the efficiency is there.
But what do you see next?
So I still think today, even though it's been a while that the cloud kitchen is there, we're still at the beginning of that industry. There is still a lot to crack in there, a lot to evolve. Technology being at the center, but still there is much more from automation, machine learning that can be more advanced in there. We started with that at Talabat, and we've been playing with data and AI a lot, but still there's much more to do in order to put the customer at the center of what we do, and also the operations at the center of what we do, and improve in that front. So there is much more to do in there, and we are currently our tech hub that is either here in UAE, part of Talabat, or the Delivery Hero Tech Hub that we have in Berlin. Everyone is exploring how to improve that and how to move ahead and be at the forefront of the innovation and that front.
George?
So in terms of the technology, I believe there's two aspects that are happening, which is driving the change. So the first one is looking at the customer. So customer expectations are changing. I mean, if you looked at food delivery 15 years ago, you'd call the driver and you spend maybe your expectation would be maybe an hour and a half the order would reach. And as technology has evolved, so has the customer expectations evolved. And this is what's really driving the change and the need, and in terms of what is next, or what are the innovations that need to come in order to meet those customer expectations. So I think this is a pivotal role in terms of how food delivery is evolving, and accordingly you get more data, more information to take action. Should it be areas like, as Alan mentioned, the prep time. These are metrics that 10 years ago you didn't really look at your prep time. Okay, it was 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Today you know that, okay, I need the prep time to be below 17 minutes, and if the item is not cooked below 17 minutes, maybe you remove it from the menu because you realize this is going to affect your algorithm, your visibility, your customer experience. So that's how I believe the technology is evolving, and accordingly, new tools are being built. Should it be in terms of scrapping data to price your menu item? I mean, previously, how would you price your menu item? You'll visit different restaurants, get flyers, create a benchmarking. Today, you can scrap the whole web and determine what is the exact price of a pizza. And I believe as the world evolves and cloud kitchen also evolves, that the technology will improve, and which will enable a better customer experience in terms of how the food is delivered, what's the temperature of the food when it reaches, how fast is it consistent. That's what will drive the change in terms of the requirements which the cloud kitchen has. So I think one of the other changes, given as customer experience has evolved, today a restaurateur has to also evolve. You can no longer run your business how it was run 10 years ago, and that's what's really driving the change. Today a restaurateur has to be data driven. He needs to understand the operational metrics of his kitchen. He needs to understand as well how the food reaches at his delivery point. He needs to understand how is he competing against other brands, and this is where data analytics play an important role.
But what do you see next for your company, as in the cloud.ae, with the technology integration? How do you then see that to service your client better, other than the customer expectation part that you were mentioning?
So in terms of, for us, the cloud, how we see data playing a pivotal role. So what we have been doing, given that we work with existing restaurants and allow them to drive more efficiencies by hosting brands in their kitchens, is we have been educating the restaurateur and the restaurant partners in terms of giving them access to more data. And then sometimes very simple things when it comes to delivery. I can give an example, splitting the hot food from the cold food. It's very easy, splitting the hot food from the cold food. How many times have you received your order, where the hot and the cold is together? So it's all about giving more data, sharing, accessibility to data, educating the restaurant partner, which allows to improve and drive more efficiencies, and then understanding what is the pain. So every now and then we sit with our restaurant partners and understand what is the pain, what additional information do they require, how can we enhance, how can we improve the customer experience? Because what you have to remember also, the customer experience evolves as the volumes evolve. So when you're running an operation with, let's say, 30 orders a day, or you're running an operation with 70 orders a day or 100 orders a day at a branch level, it's a complete different operation, and the requirements evolve as well. So in terms of how the evolution of the data or the technology, it will be, one is about the education, so understanding what is available in terms of information and data set and how to use it. And the second aspect is then monitoring additional data comp set in order to improve certain aspect of that customer experience. Should it be at the restaurant level, at the delivery level, or should it be even at at a menu level when someone is ordering?
Obviously, next thing we look at, menu optimization. Now, Dubai, we currently have just 150 different nationality, and Saudi is obviously a world of its own. How do you deal with all the cravings from everywhere, from what we were talking about from 2 o'clock in the morning with the shawarma to someone maybe wanted a chicken capsa and various things? How do you gentlemen out of your data world sniffing out all the what are the new trends to capitalize on? What is the golden formula of menu items to create a successful delivery brand? I'm gonna start with Uncle.
Thanks, Peggy. First of all, I would say that there's no golden formula. If that was there, then everybody would have executed the same. But I believe that when you have a cosmopolitan crowd like UAE market has, you have to be very, very sure of what you want to attack. I at Rebel believe, and we at Rebel believe, that we should not be spreading ourselves too thin across multiple food missions. And we look at it in a 2x2 format, if you will say that there is a consumption pattern, which is a individual, and then there's a group ordering, and here it is a value offering, and then there is a premium offering. So we look at any kind of food mission, any kind of menu in that particular manner. And we see that where is the blank space in that particular market. And if you see that this particular market has a virgin space, which is in premium group offering, then we will go ahead and attack that particular quadrant. And that's how we go about it. Of course, every market would have certain amount of its own difficulties, because here you will have customers which come from multiple kind of backgrounds. I might say that, okay, pizza is a group offering and can be premium, but for a lot of people, pizza might be just a lunch, which is a value offering. So you have to define very, very clearly that what exactly is a battle you want to pick and how do you want to go about it. And as far as, let's say, spread of multiple brand grows across a singular mission, we also believe that if you find a mission which is under-penetrated at every level, then it makes a lot of sense to play across various categories with multiple brands rather than creating on a brand which will cater everywhere. We believe that food is one of the most evolved categories where a customer might be looking to have a 25 dirham lunch, but might be having a 400 dirham dinner with the family when they are celebrating an occasion. So that's where your menu optimization, your brand play, that comes in very, very handy. And that's how we typically look at a market. And every market has its own challenges. Back home in India, we operate in a very, very different manner. In UAE, in a different manner. Our operations, we just started in Saudi and we are learning the market there. And our play in UK is very, very different. So I can't say that there's a golden formula for any particular market, but you learn every market and then you attack that market in a particular manner.
Well said. Mubarak, please.
Great. I hope everyone's having a great time. Just wanted to touch base on something really important here. Previously, I mean, if we look back a couple of years ago, maybe 10 years ago, aggregators were basically dominated by QSR restaurants, franchises, brands that basically focused on certain cuisines. The way we see it is that the market, when you look at it as a whole, you have to divide it by cuisine as opposed to segment it by brand or taste. So when you break things down by cuisine, you then realize there are pockets of opportunities available in each cuisine. And then within these cuisines, you have brands that basically you can create to target customers. And as you know, today, people are looking for a more personalized experience. They're looking for brands that specialize in certain dishes, niche, trending categories or dishes that are hitting the market. So it's very important to remember when we look at the market overall, the only way to tackle the whole market is to have brands in different cuisines and then sub-brands within that cuisine. And then that's really the way to basically capture the total market within any online food delivery market that you look at globally. What we see is that when you dissect each menu within a cuisine, it needs to be simple, it needs to be extremely clear. The name of the brand, I think, is extremely important. So before the menu, customers usually see the name, and if the name is very confusing or is not clear and doesn't actually showcase what the actual brand is offering, customers most likely wouldn't click. And then something that's very important, which actually is a direct measure of menu optimization, would be conversion. So menu page views to conversions. And I think that's something that's very important that a lot of delivery players look at. And then that really is the result of whether your menu is optimal and whether you're actually converting people that are coming in to see your menu. So there are so many things I think people are looking for. Other than, I mean, obviously the quality of the food, but that's the end game. That's what the customer sees at the end when he receives the food. I think the pictures, the descriptions, the way you lay out your menu, the sizes, everything I think makes a huge difference in optimizing your menu and making it very simple and clear for a customer to see and not cluttering your menu, I think, with a lot of items. So I think being specialized, having a simple menu, focusing on, key top selling items, and then making it simple for the customer to seamlessly go through your menu, I think is really important to get the, as you said, like a golden kind of formula.
Obviously, cloud kitchen, and we boil it down, is still an actual substance of the food. So supply chain efficiency, I think, is a golden question to a lot of my colleagues out here, especially this year in Dubai. We have COP28, the word sustainability. All these are the catchword. Now, supply chain fundamentally hits the bottom line, no matter whether it's cloud kitchen, actual restaurant, and various others. With the rise of the raw material, I'm sure we all feeling the pinch from every corner. What dynamic strategy is needed to manage the supply chain and how to stay efficient? And I cannot think of anyone else but Uncle to come with the dynamic because of the different countries that you look after.
Yep. Peggy, that's a constant battle we also fight, I'll say, on day-to-day basis. Specifically in last 12 to 18 months, when the global macros have been very, very disturbing, it's not easy to hedge every kind of interest. But one of the things which we have seen work very well for us is that you go ahead and block in a lot of raw material at the beginning of the year or the beginning of a crop cycle or something like that. I'll give you an example. We have a particular kind of rice which we use to make biryani, and we consume quite a bit of it, having the largest delivery biryani brand in India and also in UAE and few other markets. Now, what we realize that in last couple of years, the export from India has been increasing at a great pace. And there is absolutely no government protection on that because it's the premium quality of rice. So what we did that we went ahead, worked with farmers, got into long-term contracts with them, and ensured that we get the similar quality of rice across the year. You also work with other value chain partners who can give you the right kind of storage, right kind of processing, and ensure that same raw material is available across multiple locations, ensuring that brand is consistent. So that's one of the things. Other things which we are working on specifically in a market like UAE is that how much of the things can you localize at the right price and what can you get into the market from a source where you already source a large amount of raw material. Because for us, India being almost 80% of our business, we get a lot of buying prowess there. So we utilize that and see what can be sent from India to a market like UAE, where already a lot of raw material is coming from various parts of the world. So these are the few things which we keep on doing. But if there is a sudden surprise, which I would say Russia-Ukraine conflict through, then we had to weather that storm specifically on cooking oil, etc. It took us a while, but I think that that helped us learn that how do you kind of diversify your sourcing as well, because sometimes you start becoming so dependent on a particular source, particular region, that you forget that it's important to diversify. So now there's a strict policy internally to work on 80-20 kind of a thing, that you have a second partner always supplying you 20% of the raw material, and you continuously keep working with various geographies globally to see that where it makes more sense to source things. Yeah, so that's I would say has been our learning in last few years.
So no longer just restaurant. We're talking about commodity straight through.
I would say that because it's not something you can say that, okay, this is going to happen tomorrow. I think world has evolved, and COVID also taught us this in a big way, that you cannot just go and behave in a certain manner the way you were behaving earlier. A lot of our long-term suppliers kind of let go of the contracts when COVID struck us, and there was nothing which we could do. So I think that the world has changed, and so have we.
Different side of purchasing, definitely. Now, after looking at, obviously, from supply chain, we need to look at the word quality. So as what you said before, it can be a 20 dirham shawarma or a 400 dirham family meal. When it comes to quality control, I think I really hats off to all you gentlemen, cloud kitchen, delivery, just for a lot of my colleagues out there having bricks and mortars, dealing with quality control is already a fine act when it's already in a controlled environment. When you're on a delivery circumstances, there is so many force majeure, which we've seen a lot of bikes that got swimming during the rain and various other things happen. How do you guys do it? I mean, what are the key points to quality control and how to maintain high standard? Joe, it has to come from you because you are in the kingdom, and kingdom is this surging mecca that everyone wants to know what is going on.
Yeah. Thank you. Quality control is one of the most important elements of F&B. This is the Achilles heel of F&B in general. And a lot of cloud kitchens have suffered from quality in general, and it perpetuated across the whole ecosystem as it being a source of lower quality. The main reason for it is multiple handovers, and the second point is it's based on speed. Now, this is a very important topic for us at Matbakhi as well, because what we're trying to do is merge quality with efficiency, right? Because we operate from hotels, and in hospitality, quality is very important. In cloud kitchens, efficiency is very important. So how do you marry both? And maybe the simple answer is with three main buckets: the people, the systems, and the processes. On the people front, it starts from when you hire someone, you want to make sure that from the get-go they have this mentality ingrained, and they go through a training program that will emulate different situations, difficult situations, for them to actually emerge with high quality while delivering on speed. The second point is systems. And on systems, I'm not only talking about the systems that you measure, which is your customer satisfaction, the speed with which you operate, be it your prep time, your vendor delay, all of these metrics that we know, but also the systems that you use. So as simple as how many crossing should a line cook do for them to actually deliver on a particular plate, right? And by observing this and reducing as much as possible these steps and ensuring that this dance is at its finest, this is where you make sure that your systems are optimized. And finally, processes. Of course, without having strong processes for your staff and for the supporting staff, because quality is also, it's not only in the front line, but it's also throughout the supply chain in your ecosystem, from your suppliers to your warehouse to your central kitchen to your logistics across the board, and even to the third, of course, to the delivery partner that who is helping you in delivering your food. You need to make sure that you have the right processes to optimize the quality at every single level.
George?
Thanks, Maggie. So in terms of the quality control, the way we look at it, I mean, given at the cloud we outsource all of our operations to existing restaurants, so it becomes much more difficult. So very different in terms of owning your assets and owning your kitchen. So how do we monitor quality control? Today we're at 1,100 location in multiple across 91 cities. So how we do it is one, as I was mentioning previously, in terms of educating the restaurant partner, how we educate the restaurant partner in terms of what are the important metrics to look at. The second aspect is really having service level agreements with those kitchen partners where there is a penalty. So if the order is not prepared, as per the agreed specification, there is a penalty, and when that penalty becomes, multiple offenses, it becomes a hefty bill, and then the owner takes action. Then there's another aspect where you get involved third-party mystery shoppers who will do constantly mystery shopping on your brands, which will allow to have an independent point of view in order to give insights to the restaurant partners to improve their operations from a quality control point of view. So I think these different aspects should be in terms of the education from a data point of view. The mystery shopping should be internal mystery shopping, external mystery shopping allows the kitchens to realize what is the importance. And I believe the most important aspect of the quality control is not about controlling or not in terms of the quality, is that if you don't do quality control, you will not have customer retention. And if you don't have customer retention, eventually the brand, the restaurant will simply die. So if you have good quality control, you're efficient, you'll have high customer retention. Your brand will then survive and grow, and you'll have great customer, great brand reputation. And I think that's the most important aspect, where it's really aligning and educating should be with the restaurant partners that these are the metrics that drive success. It's not about spending on marketing. You can go and spend on marketing. Yes, you'll see the brand. It will have a spike of orders. A lot of people will order. Delivery is coming in 3 hours. Delivery is wrong. You ordered a pepperoni pizza. You received the chicken pizza, or you received a burger instead of a pizza. You'll never reorder from the brand. So that's what really brings and plays very important and vital role, where you have this quality control across the full chain of the customer experience.
So, riding on what Joe said, speed, agile kitchen design. So, we've talked about the food, we've talked about the supply chain, Now we need to talk about the tools to make the cooking happen. So what do you see is the key metrics for a agile, efficient cloud kitchen layout? And the million-dollar question will be, what is the cost of putting it together? Alan, you guys put enough of that at Talabat, please.
All right, so look, talking a bit of history and how this thing evolved over time, like before cloud kitchens were there, or before it was trendy, uh, we had regular kitchens that were big in size, a lot of unutilized space, a lot of space, privileged space. Real estate also was different, and also the whole mindset of operating a restaurant was different. So that space used to host one brand, and that space used to host one menu, if you want, with a lot of people. Then came the cloud kitchens, and people got super excited, and space started to go down. And we reached to a certain point as well where we wanted to do everything in 1 square meter, every brand in 1 square meter, and we started to experiment with station. Like instead of a full kitchen, put station, which is also not a good idea. And today we evolved to a certain place where, all right, we want the right size, all right? It's not about being smaller or it's about being bigger. It's about having the right size. For us as Talabat Kitchens, what we do is we know now, with our experience, we know what type of partners are we attracting. And those partners that are coming into our kitchens have different mandates, they have different goals, and they have surely different requirements. So we design our kitchens with that in mind. We have sizes that differ from 14, 16, to up to 25, and now we're building around 28 square meters to cater for multi-brand operators as well, or international brands that have franchise requirements that needs that. So also we evolved in our learning. We used to build a one-size-fits-all, thinking like we were thinking 2-3 years ago, but now we also evolved in that. But that's one part of the equation. Imagine now, and we have kitchens that are hosting around 35 different operators under the same roof. Imagine the chaos that goes in there and the whole mess that it can become if it's not really well thought of and it's not really delivery centric and partner centric, and also at the end, whatever we do should be customer centric. Going back to the basics of things is the food should reach the customer at the right time, at the promised time, with the right temperature, with the good quality. So we took that, and then we designed our kitchens accordingly. So the running time of a bag coming from a certain stall to the dispatch area is always calculated. We try to do it in less than 30 seconds. However, our kitchen is designed, the running and the dispatch center is at the center of what we do. We call it the theater. The dispatch area is our main act in there. And how our dispatch is organized and how we're calling our riders who are waiting in there is also something that we learned the hard way, if you want. We used to do small dispatch area because we were thinking, okay, I want that real estate to build more and more kitchen. But now we know that if we don't have that right, we don't have the right kitchens. And this is also how we do it with agility. And most importantly, also the riders. We cannot keep them outside and start calling their names. Okay, who wants order 25? No, they need to be also inside, hosted inside, having their place inside our kitchens in order for them to have their orders efficiently. Because also, as Talabat, we care about the whole journey. And rider KPIs also for us is very important. We don't want him to be delayed waiting for an order because we want him to go to the customer quick and then come back, take another order and go to there. So we design it also in that way. Last but not least, I would say that today, how we're evolving as well more is we want to really look at the whole journey and evolve. And now the new kitchens that we're building, they're taking into consideration how we can automize all of that. You know, everything that is manual today, how it can be much more automatic, and using, you know, the robots that you saw there at the door to run stuff internally, more carousels that are taking, but the smart way of carousels, you know, and we're experimenting with that as well. And we have also much more that we're doing. And, you know, I think you've heard in the news that we're trying to do the drones delivery experimentation in there. And we started the robot delivery. So everything can be optimized, keeping the customer at the center.
No, because I went to host Milano and now they're using AI in oven to monitor how long to cook. So it's all coming. I've seen it with my real eyes,
Exactly.
so it's very exciting. Now we produced everything, we find the right kitchen. Customer expectation is on everyone's lips, not only Cloud Kitchen, restaurant, everywhere else, because we want them to spend more and we want them to continue to dine with you. So, what are the key metrics that you monitor from? How do you gather your intel? And obviously, being a Cloud Kitchen, how do you utilize the data that you've gathered from the customer's order preference to build on exceeding the customer expectation? Mubarak, you with so many brands, I'm sure you have plenty to tell me.
You know, what really surprises me, Peggy, is that the actual essence of a cloud kitchen is to be more efficient. And I think that's something that there's a misconception that's been going around, I think, recently, that basically cloud kitchens and virtual brands don't actually use, you know, good quality ingredients. The food from virtual brands isn't great. But what we've seen and what we've developed at KLC is basically we've taken the traditional restaurant model, which is food first, service first, and then basically created a business model around creating virtual brands for customers' tastes and demands, and then using the cloud kitchen model, which is basically having multiple brands in a kitchen, utilizing that kitchen, bringing the rent ratio from sales down, and then reinvesting that money in the food, reinvesting that money in hiring an amazing team, reinvesting that money basically in positioning yourself on aggregators. So I think the idea, customer expectations from delivery restaurants, especially towards virtual brands recently, I think there's just a lot of confusion going around. But I think what we're seeing today is that a lot of the delivery, the successful delivery virtual brands are actually flourishing, and they're growing and they're meeting customer expectations for multiple reasons. It's because they listen to their customers. They basically have designed their menus and brands for customers for delivery. So the food itself actually tastes good when it arrives to your house. The packaging that they use is extremely important. The way the menus are priced, the portions that they use are all made and are customized for the delivery experience. So I think these are some of the really important metrics that we measure. We take feedback from the customers, from aggregators. We have an active team of basically contact center agents that basically call customers for feedback. We take this feedback, we then look at it, and then we re-engineer a lot of the things that we have. But I think the essence of what we're trying to do is we're delivering quality food to people, customers that we love, and we need to take care of them. And I think that's something very important. And I think the idea that virtual brands use maybe, I would say, cheaper ingredients is, I think there's a misconception out there. And a lot of people that order from our brands, they don't even know that they are virtual brands. And it's not relevant, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, you're ordering from a restaurant, you want a good experience, you want good food, and that's what it is. We're foodies. We eat the food from our restaurants on a daily basis. And that's really the core, I think, to meeting the customer expectations. The way we basically measure these metrics, like I mentioned, we look at all the different elements in the process. But unfortunately, what we're seeing today is customers want their food to be delivered faster. And I think that was the big turning point, in my opinion, in the last 3 to 4 years, where people were expecting 20-minute, 15-minute delivery. But good food, as everybody knows here, takes time to make. And when you're making things fresh for customers, you have to wait. And I think what we're seeing today is we're getting a lot of our customers coming back because we might not deliver within 20 minutes, but we'll deliver within 30 to 40 minutes, but we make sure that the customer enjoys his meal, enjoys the experience, and comes back. And that's really the difference, and in my opinion, from just trying to achieve top-line growth rather than running a sustainable business. We've been in this industry for more than 10 years. We're one of the profitable cloud kitchen groups, and I think it's very important to see more examples, in my opinion, of successful cloud kitchen groups around the world, and that will only encourage all of us to reinvest this into a better delivery experience. So I think it's amazing to be on the panel with everybody, and I was also part of a discussion earlier about how virtual brands. What's the successful recipe for a successful virtual brand? I don't think anyone in the world has cracked that, but there's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of experimentation. But what we are seeing is a lot of improvement on the top line, and I think as long as cloud kitchens can operate sustainably, we are going to see better delivery experiences, better virtual brands, and I think customers are going to be satisfied and they're going to come back.
Oh, fantastic. Last but not least, obviously, we talked about the customer expectation, continuous improvement. Joe, we've talked about meeting the expectation. So, what are the key success so far with your company, and what are you doing in building on the legacy?
Continuous improvement is usually dubbed to operational continuous improvement. But allow me to take that conversation to another place, which is perceived quality. Continuously improving this perceived quality from customers, because this is very, very important. This is what actually will get people to buy from you at the end. And let me give you a small example of a great story that I love. The bullet train in Japan every day has 400,000 travelers. And for the longest period of time, they were nagging about the cleanliness. So the management of the bullet train, instead of hiring more cleaning people, what they did is they changed the color of the suits of the cleaners. So people can see them and they can differentiate them from other people. So this very red suit allowed people to know, oh, the cleaners are here. And then they evolved. And when people were going down, they were holding bags and doing a small dance to incite people to hold whatever they have and throw them in the bags. And when people were coming up, they were asking if they have anything that they had to throw it without going into the bullet train. And the success rate and the acceptance rate and the feedback from the customers increased, and all the complaints about the cleanliness went down. Perceived quality is always from the eye of your customer. And if I want to leave this group of people with maybe one thing that we do extensively well in Matbakhi, we capitalize on two moments: the peak and the end. In any process, in any customer experience, solve for the peak and solve for the end. That's why many times a delayed plane is not a bad experience, because during the peak they give you ice cream, and at the end someone came and took a picture of you. The peak and the end. So this is something that I'd like to leave a thought for everyone in today's session.
Well, that's left me with no time, and it's been an absolute pleasure to having this world of brains among the clouds to be with us. Do we have time for one short question? Is there any questions in the room?
We're well over time, unfortunately, Anne.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you so much.